Well, hello neighbor, welcome back to the Ozark Homestead. And thinking about this video that I was going to do, here we are, today is the first day of summer in 2023, and most everybody's got their plants in the ground, seeds in the ground, everything in the ground growing. Some of you out there are already harvesting. Now, I've seen some of these folks is down there in zone 7, zone 8, that are just bringing in the harvest. Now I'm in 6B, here in the Ozarks, and things are just now starting to produce, but everything's growing good. But being in the summer, one of the main concerns that you must have with a garden, whether it be a raised bed, in-ground, whatever, is irrigation. Now I was thinking about this video and talking about irrigation, and I got to thinking of the different ways that you could do irrigation. One way is with soaker hose. Another way is with drip lines. Another way is with sprinklers, or just getting out there and hand watering, or even using a water can, depending on the size of your garden that you've got. Now, after thinking about all those things, and the majority of my gardening I learned from my grandmother, I would say 75% of it. Growing up in the Ozark Hills and watching her get out and work the garden, she was kind of in charge of the family garden. Had 7 mouths to feed with the kids, and then her and Grandpa, that made a total of 9, so that's a pretty good sized garden. And I got to thinking about all that, and one thing popped up in the back of my mind. My other grandfather, he used to grow tomatoes, a lot of tomatoes, and his type of irrigation, which I don't know why I didn't think of it, came to mind. And the way that he would do it would be very simply, he would take a 3-pound coffee can and put it in the ground by each plant that he planted as far as his tomatoes go. And that's how he would do it. Now, a lot of people don't have 3-pound coffee cans, but a lot of people do have just a regular can. Now what you do is you take this can, and of course you've got the top cut out of it because you had to get what was in it out, but then you cut the bottom out. Cut the bottom out. And the great thing about this is these cans will last probably 3 or 4 seasons before they rust out, so you can reuse them again. But what you will do is take this can and put it in the ground, and this is where you put your water, put your nutrients for the plant inside this, and it will slowly work its way out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out there in the garden, because I hadn't put any of these in yet. I just thought about it. It just hit me. Yeah, I'm getting old. And we're going to put a couple of these in the ground, and I'll show you what I mean by how to install these to be able to irrigate your plants. And we're not just talking tomatoes, it can be peppers or whatever that you want to use these by. So let's go out and get in the garden. Okay, ideally you should do this when you're planting, and then like I said earlier, it just popped in my head that this is the way my grandfather used to do with tomatoes. Now, if you think of it afterwards like I did, here's how you can do this. You can take your can, and about 4 inches or so away from the plant, just dig you out a pocket about the same size as the can. Take your can, place it in the hole, squish it around in there till it's down there in the dirt really, really well. Now, as you can tell, you can come in here now, put your fertilizer, put your water, fill it all the way up, and that should be plenty of water for each watering to your plant. So you're not putting water out here on the ground or over on the back side of the tomato. You're doing it right here directly where it belongs. And it works out pretty well. But like I said, ideally you should do this, when you're originally planting. But it's never too late to get it in the ground. Pretty simple deal. Pretty simple deal. And it does save you a little bit of time. It actually will save you water, because if you're not using a drip line or even a soaker hose. Now a soaker hose, yeah, you probably can waste a little water with that. But this is just direct watering right in the ground. And I showed you how easy it was just to put it in there, even late in the season. But preferably do it when you're planting, and I'll remember to do that next year. Now, another thing I want to discuss on this video today is the buzzword that's out there. There's this, it's constant that I'm seeing this. It's called electroculture. Yeah, electroculture. And there's a number of videos on YouTube. There's people that swear by it. There's people that say there's nothing to it. But the whole theory about electroculture is it's supposed to be able to pull this antenna that you made. And I made one, and we're going to look at it here in just a minute. But you take this antenna and you put it down beside your plant. And the theory is that it will actually pull magnetism, magnetic fields, and actually pull nitrogen out of the air and introduce it to the soil by your plant. And like I said, there's a lot of talk about this. That's kind of the buzzword this year, is electroculture. And what I did is I went ahead and done it. I got a piece of copper. I watched some of these videos on how you're supposed to do it and everything. And I made an antenna. And as a test, I put it down beside one tomato plant, and then I planted another plant farther away from it. Same type of plant, same day, everything the same, for 4 weeks. And we're going to go out there in the garden, and we're going to take a look at it. So let's go out there and see what happened. Okay, here's the coil that I put together about 4 weeks ago, and made out of copper, done exactly as I've seen on other YouTube videos and what I've read. Made the copper coil, put it next to this tomato plant. Now this plant, I planted this plant here, and another plant on the other end here at exactly the same time. Same type of tomato, everything. So here's one with the electroculture. Let me back up here and show you. And it's about 3 foot tall. It does have a few green ones on it. Okay. Here's the one without the electroculture. About the same height. And it has green ones on it too. No difference whatsoever. So it's hard for me to say whether electroculture works or not. But that's what you want to do, go for it. You do what works best for you. Well, you can see what the difference was, not any. So my opinion on using electroculture is if you believe in it, use it. It's like anything. Do what works for you. For me, it doesn't work. And I thought maybe I did it wrong. So I went back and I looked again at some of these other videos, and there's one guy out there in particular, I'm not going to mention any names, but he swears by it. He makes the antennas, he sells them. And I've seen some videos where it shows there's a difference. I've seen other videos where there don't. So it's one of those things you have to look for yourself. And like I said, I had it in the ground for 4 weeks. No difference in the plants. Everything's the same. So yay or nay on electroculture? For me, nay. But that's just the way it goes. So I hope you learned a little bit today, a little bit about irrigation, a little bit about electroculture. You can look this up online. See for yourself, look at some of the results that people have done. But that's what I want to do these videos on, kind of bring things forward that most people don't talk about too much. And hopefully educate you a little bit, maybe give you a little advice, give you a little bit of maybe some guidance on how to do things, and improve your gardening. That's just what we're going to do. So until next time, remember, hit that like, hit that share button. Make sure you get this out so other people can see it, and let's have some fun with it. So remember, get out there and grow. Get your hands dirty. We'll see you later.